and if I end up hindering that stage of growth, that personality will affect me too. Because if she's not respecting a mom, how will I expect her to respect my future wife? We'll speak about these men are like this, and men are trash, and that. How many of them are raised by single mom? As a man, you are in control before sex, because you can say no.
Right.
You can wear a rubber.
Right.
After that, you're not in control anymore. It's a woman's decision.
Hello, I'm Miranda, and welcome to Dealing with a Baby Mama, a safe space for the girlfriend, the wife, the baby daddy, and yes, even the baby mama herself. This is an unlicensed therapy session you never knew you needed. Today in studio, we're joined by the bold and brilliant, a wise one with zero filters, Mernoly Simba.
Hi. How's it going?
Hey, thank you so much for coming.
No problems. Thank you for inviting me.
I appreciate your time. So, we're dealing with a very heavy, sensitive, and maybe sometimes hilarious topic, depending on what kind of situation you're in. Let's rewind a little bit, right? Who is Simba before the title of dad came into the picture?
Mernoly Simba is free-spirited, is a go-getter, is a lover of life, and very respectful to individuals, whether you are a cleaner in the company or a CEO. I treat everybody the same, and very family oriented, and I love my friends as well. I'm a people's person.
And then what's your understanding of fatherhood growing up? Because I know it takes a lot of shape as to who we end up becoming.
Right.
Did it shape your expectations?
So I grew up with a single mother, all right? And I didn't grow, actually, I was surrounded by women. My grandma, my mom, and my aunties and stuff, And actually from a young age, I actually hated men.
Ooh.
Because I was like, all these women are grinding and pushing, and where are the men? My aunts have my cousin, my sister.
Yeah.
And then there was no men. My mom had me, there was no men. When I was living with my grandma, I didn't see a man, so I grew up being a very angry child. And I remember, because I used to fight a lot. I remember one of my aunts, my mom's older sister, she said, you need to stop being angry and be forgiving, and then grow up to be the man that will like you to be. And then I must have been like 13 years old, and I think that sticked with me. And I wanted to be the man that they would like me to be. So, yeah.
And it's really fortunate that with you, it's stuck around, because forgiving someone is so hard. We live in a world where unforgiveness is a real thing.
Right.
It takes time.
Right.
It takes intentionality. And also just, you take a look in South Africa, the household, it's 88% of women who are leading homes.
Right.
And the fathers are not there. So what was your initial reaction when you found out you were going to be a dad? Was it joy, confusion?
I was extremely excited. I was extremely excited. I remember I was excited and nervous at the same time, because I was still young, and I have to tell my mother, who has so much expectations from me.
Yep.
As a Congolese woman, she expected me to get married first, and to finish my education and get married. So I had to go and tell her that actually I'm going to become a father. So I was nervous, but at the same time I was excited. Because I was like, wow, there is this tiny little being that's going to be growing to be my child. And yeah. But after I spoke to my mom, she was upset. The next day, she was fine. She told me that, listen, children are a blessing. And then on a later stage, I find out that I'll be having a girl. So I was even more nervous, because I'm like, I used to run the streets. Like, how am I gonna, raise a little girl? So I was very nervous. And my mother told me, I remember having a conversation with her, and then the advice was, if your heart is in the right place, you will know what to do.
Sure.
And then also meeting with my daughter's mom, the parent. I had to meet with the father, and after our very serious meeting, at the end of it, one of the advice that he gave me that also stood to me until now was, you can be a star to the moon, but if you're not a father to your children, you achieve nothing. So those advice pretty much stick with me. And I also wanted to be the birth version of what I never had,
Yeah.
which was a father figure, and that's a promise I gave myself since that conversation with my aunt, is that I'm never gonna let my children grow up without me, and then my ex-girlfriend at the time knew how committed I am in terms of, if, like we always spoke about it, if something went down whereby we end up being pregnant, you need to know that I'll be there all the way,
Yeah.
and then that's a word that I stick to, even when we went together, I stick to that word, because that's something I always told myself, that I was like, God forbid, even if it was a one night stand, I'll find you. Like literally, that's
are that guy.
That's how committed I was. I'm never gonna let the children of mine, grow up without a dad. And it was lucky for me, it was not the case. We're in a relationship for 3 years, so yeah. But yeah, and I've been that guy. I've been present from the word go.
Sure. Paint a picture for us,
Right.
right? What was the dynamic between you and the mother of your child at the time?
Yeah. Well, we were going to, it didn't work out after a while. And I think we were both young as well. We're both finding our ways in life. And, naturally, we were going through a breakup.
Yeah.
And the passion was strong. And then, in the process of those emotions, we end up being pregnant, and it was tense because we're actually going through a breakup. And and I had to tell her that, listen, like, I'm here for you all the way. Whether we're back together, we can try to be back together again. We can try to make it work. But if it works or doesn't work, you need to know I'm here all the way. So I made her feel comfortable, because that's and that's another advice that I've gotten when I was young. As a man, you are in control before sex, because you can say no.
Right.
You can wear a rubber.
Right.
After that, you're not in control anymore. It's a woman's decision. So you can't tell her what to do, how to do it. You literally become the supporters. If she say, I'm doing this, you're like, okay, I'm there. If you say, because your control is gone, you had control before sex. You could have put in a rubber, you can have say, this is not going to happen, but you didn't. So yeah, in the midst of that, I literally just told her, I'll be there for you and stuff. Preferably, I'll prefer us to have it. To have the baby. That's my direction, and I think that kind of made her comfortable as well to go and tell her parents. And the first thing was, let me tell mine first, because I know mine, they'll be upset, but they got my back. And so she told the parents, and then we took it, and then we pretty much took it from there. And we tried to make it work. It didn't work out, and so we are pretty much, I think between the two, I was a bit older than her. I'm 4 years older, 4 or 5 years older.
Not that old, but yeah.
But 4 or 5 years older.
Yes.
So I was more ready than she was, right? And I was more committed than she was. And I think for her, she was still going through the emotions. So as time came by, I offered to pretty much take care of my child. It was difficult for her. Actually had to bring her with me to my mom's house so that the transition is a bit smoother. So she came and stayed with me and the baby until a period of time. And then, and then we went together. That's the crazy thing. We went together, but the transition had to take place because I can't just take the baby without the mom, And so we stayed together for a period of time. And then eventually she went back to a parent's place, and I stayed with the baby.
I think right now, people watching the show thinking, I wish I had that kind of a baby daddy, because who goes through such lengths to make sure that the baby mama
Right.
And your child are comfortable? And that is so heartwarming. Like, it's rare to get such men who do that,
Right. I think it's our responsibility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's our responsibility. As a man, you impregnated this woman, and and you need to be able to be committed. She didn't dance by herself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Both of you guys, had that rumba together. So, so you need to participate. And I didn't want to see my mom going through. I didn't want to see her going through what my mom went through, what my aunt went through, or my grandma went through. That's something that I refuse to see as I don't want to see a woman go through that as a result of my action. So I wanted to be part of that, and I wanted to be who I promised to be, which is to be a better man, So yeah, I literally took it from there, and I ran with it. I was young, and I was nervous, but I pretty much ran with it, man. And when I look back now, I was speaking about it with my wife yesterday, and a friend, and I was like, it was a blessing in disguise because it kept me focused. I didn't have a full-time job at the time. So I used to do gigs, modeling now and then, choreographing now and then, events, promotions, And when I have a big stack of cash, I'll pay like 6 months in advance for school fees, Yes,
Yes,
because I knew that money doesn't come all the time.
Yeah.
So when I do have, I'll put there. And when I don't have, because I was so committed when I don't have, my mom didn't have a problem helping. Because like, you like when he has, it's always there. So when I didn't have, my mom would be like, no, I'll cover this month and that month, because I was always like, I never ran away from my responsibility, and the result, my daughter's mom also respected me. We had our back and forth, but she always had so much respect for me because of the kind of man I am.
Yeah, what an honorable man you are. And now the moment has arrived. Your firstborn is here. What's going through your mind?
And I think just trying to raise her the best way I can. Trying to make sure that I raise her out of love and respect, and that's something that I promised myself. In the midst of our differences between me and the mom, I make sure that my child is raised with love and respect. We live in a world where there's so much hurt and hate. And I didn't want her foundation to be also a combination of hate. She'll be facing that in the world. So I wanted a foundation to be based out of love and respect, and then she can maneuver the hate when the love and respect is there. So yeah, that was pretty much my commitment and my approach to raising her, and also learning my own things. I was doing a lot of research. I was doing a lot of research, man. Like when I say I was committed, I was like, I need to know how to do these things. So I was reading, I was asking questions, and I also come up with my own identity, my own ideas, and things that I liked, when I was growing up, things that my family did, and also things that I didn't like. I remember speaking to my mom and my sister. I'm like, we're not gonna do things this way. We'll do it that way because this is how I want to do it. Like we don't say anything negative. So like let's say with my daughter, when she was growing up, when she was small, if she did something that was dumb, that should be dumb, or I'll use the opposite. I'll be like, for a smart girl, how did you get this wrong?
Oh wow,
all right.
That's so beautiful.
I was pushing the idea of you are smart. So always trying to go with what I want the outcome to be. So and that was my approach. And then she's in grade 10 now, and I can tell you she's the smartest girl. Like she's a 80% average.
Straight A student.
Literally straight A, because the mind is such a powerful thing, right? And how we treat our kid when they're young, it's how they view themselves, because you are the source of the confidence. You are the mentor. So if you tell a child is stupid, they are fragile, and they literally take it to themselves. If you tell the child is smart, and you are graceful, you are smart, you are kind, and that's what they remember. So I always used to tell her the outcome, what I want the outcome to be. So if I want the outcome to be you are smart, I'll be like, for a smart person, like I'm just surprised you got this wrong. So she feels disappointed because she like, actually I'm smart.
Yeah, how did I get
this wrong? Yeah. And so and until now, people are like, when they come across my daughter, they're like, she's so graceful, she's so composed, she's so, and you won't believe that she's actually 15, and plus she's tall, so people think she's older. So that was my approach, and I learn in the process, and I learn every day. I tweak every day. I'm tweaking a thing or two.
Sure. You're raising such a powerhouse and a future leader. I can tell you that much. So when the baby mama is having her moments, right? Where there's turmoil, you're not aligned.
Right.
How do you navigate that in terms of, okay, I have a child with this person. The mother, we are not seeing eye to eye at the moment.
Right.
No. Do you take out your frustration on her? I mean, already you spoke so well on how you've raised her to be your daughter. But then as human beings, we want to be like, you know what? Actually, you remind me of your mom.
Right.
Just stay away from me, because it can be messy.
It can be.
How did you?
It can be. I think the first thing that people need to remember, you dated that person, there was love there. You know what I mean? There is no way you've been with a person, and then there is no love. You know what I mean? I remember when I was getting to know my wife, and for the first time, I was speaking to a woman, and I asked her about the relationship, and she said the most beautiful things about it, her ex. I was like, so why are you here?
Right.
And then she was just like, because it was not what I was looking for, right? So, like, just because you walk away with from somebody doesn't mean you have to hate them. You can love somebody from a distance. You can be like, I care for that person, but it's together it's not gonna work out,
Yeah.
And I had the utmost, care for her. Like I did care for her, and then that's the source I use to raise my daughter, and even in the midst of our chaos, I can be very firm. When I say when I feel like something is wrong, I will tell you something is wrong, and that was my fight with her on the sideline. Not in front of my daughter. My daughter will not know about what was going on. To my daughter, her mom is the best thing that ever happened to her. Irrelevant of she let her down, this or whatever the case may be. I need to make sure that you're going to respect your mom, and you're going to call her on her birthday. If it's Mother's Day, you're going to call on Mother's Day, and at some point, I even found myself being a father to the both of them, because sometimes I'll call that side also. I'll be like, don't forget to call her. It's her birthday. It's your daughter's birthday today as well. She's like, no, don't worry. I got it. And because I wanted my daughter to grow out of love, and if I end up hindering that stage of growth, that personality will affect me too. Because if she's not respecting a mom, how will I expect her to respect my future wife? Who's the foundation of, that's a mother, that's her foundation, you understand? And that's the same thing that I tell a lot of my female friends when they come and they're speaking about the baby daddy this and the baby daddy that, and they're speaking out of hate, and I'm like, you are literally, crafting a characteristic that will come and hurt, like will come for you in the future, because everything happens as a result of our action, So if you are busy telling you loudly your father is this and your father is that and all the bad thing, that kid has got emotion. That boy is a boy, and the first point of a reference is his father, And if you're painting a very ugly picture, you don't know what kind of characteristic you are pretty much creating. You know what I mean? You think you're doing yourself justice. Actually, to society, you might end up being injustice to the rest of us who have daughters. That man is gonna come and date our daughter. We don't, you know what I mean? And he's angry. He's upset at his dad. In actual fact, he might even be upset of the fact that all you used to do is compare him to his father. And you know what I mean? And he might go and use those frustration on other people, and we've seen it. We've seen it. Like I've had questions of some of my friends. I'm like, a lot of the men that will speak about these men are like this, and men are trash, and that. How many of them are raised by single mom?
Right.
You know what I mean?
So
like,
many.
Exactly. So they should have been prepared better, right? You'll assume that should have been prepared better, but a lot of them are not. Why? We take frustration of our kids. We, like they become our source of therapy, where we feel like if the world is bad, we have to come and throw it there. If the father is doing this, I'm not. And for me, I just decided I just felt like I'm gonna do the opposite. And my mom also, I think I thank her in that regard, because she's never once said anything bad about my dad. And that as I grew older, I realized the importance of it, and I'm like, wow. She like when she spoke about him, she spoke about him as. My high school sweethearts were so young, such an intelligent person.
Right?
He's good looking, you look like him, he's such an intelligent person. He's just very responsible, that's all.
Like that's all you're getting, nothing else that's negative.
Exactly. And I love that. As I grow older, I appreciated that. You know what I mean? It didn't paint an ugly picture. It painted a picture of this my dad is an engineer, so very intelligent. And very soft. My mom is like, my dad is the softest person ever. Like, and I experienced that because once when I went and found him when I was younger and I did something wrong and he smacked me. And so when he walked away, I'm thinking, is that all he got? That was the softest smack I've ever had in my life. I grew up with ladies.
No, you didn't.
I grew up with women.
Yeah.
When they dish showers, you feel that stuff. Like, I was like, this man is like, he hit worse than any of the women I know. But so she basically always spoke positive about him, except for the fact that he's responsible. And I think the reason why she mentioned that because she wanted me to be responsible, but apart from that, praise her for never speaking bad of him. I didn't understand it then, but as I grew older, I don't even think she understood it. But as I grew older, I realized the impact of it, And I encourage everybody to I know it's tough. I know somebody did you wrong, and it's easy for you to be cold and to be aggressive and to get them back, and you want to use the kids and stuff. But do yourself a favor. You're not helping yourself. You're literally just hindering your child and also the relationship they want to have with you in the future.
And building a monster.
And exactly.
Because in a moment of hurt, of frustration and unforgiveness, there's a long-term effects that you don't realize. Slowly, gradually, you're building something in future that you may not even be able to contain.
Exactly.
And you can't even take it back.
Yeah.
Right? So how was it for you? I don't know if you're in a relationship and you're also having a relationship with the baby mama.
Right.
And you are reminding the baby mama, hey, don't forget to call your daughter, right? Don't forget this. How is she understanding of this?
Oh, my daughter? Or
the baby mama.
I don't
know if you were in a relationship at that time.
No, we went in a relationship. I think
with another woman.
With another woman? No, I wasn't. But even when I was, in many times I've been in relationships, but even when I was, anybody I've dated knew, first in the initial stage, I kept my relationship far from my daughter. She didn't know about it. But the people that I was dating knew how committed I am with my daughter in terms of my relationship with her. I did not compromise that. And I made it very clear from the word go. Actually, if you're getting to know me, you will know because I always posted her. I was just a proud dad, And I think with regard to that, it's never really been a problem. I don't think there is a woman there who's going to have a problem. You're raising a daughter and making sure that her relationship is good with her mom. If they have a problem with that, then it speaks volume about their character and who they are. It's not so much about me, because I'm trying to make sure that my daughter have a good relationship with her mother. It shouldn't be something for us to fight about, At the time, also, one thing I'll say for sure, being young, sometimes my approach to making sure that she has a good relationship with her mother, in terms of not my daughter, but my conversation with my ex, with my daughter's mom, sometimes would be tricky. It'd be tricky. Sometimes it will be hot. And sometimes I didn't have the best approach because I was younger as well. All I wanted is to make sure that you guys have a relationship, a good relationship. But sometimes the outcome was was hardcore.
What is going on here? Yeah.
And my approach, sometimes my approach was hardcore. But as I grew older, I found ways to manage it. But the goal was to make sure that the two of them always have a good relationship. And that was always the goal. Yeah.
And what boundaries do you set early on to make things work? Whether it's with your daughter or maybe with your future partner.
And I think, and you can only set boundaries when you as yourself, you've grown and you've established your values, right? And as I grew older, my values were pretty much clear to me, what I wanted and what I didn't want. I remember I was in a relationship and years back, and then the person I was dating, was mad at me, and then I remember asking the person if we can drive, just drop we're going the direction we're going, because she was driving. The direction we're going was not far from where my mom is, so I wanted to drop my daughter there, right? And I see her rolling her eyes at that point, right? And already for me, that was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
It just literally raise an alarm for me, because that's mean if we get in a serious relationship and me and you are upset, you upset at me, and you will continue being upset with me even when it comes to taking care of helping with my daughter. Do you understand? So that little scenario made me feel like, flip me. So if you mad at me and my daughter was around and she was hungry, you want to even make something because you upset at me.
Awesome. You're really touching very sensitive areas right now.
And I had to kind of eventually I started building a case to walk away. So,
Sure.
because for me it was like, I don't, like, literally the commitment of, I don't want my daughter to go through what I went through. First of all, my mom never brought a man in the house that I've grown up with her. That's another thing that I was like, jeez, man, I've never seen my mom bring a man in the house. So I was like, if I ever do bring a woman in the presence of my daughter, I need to make sure that the person, she's caring, because I know my daughter's respectful and caring because I raised her. So I just needed a person to complement that as well, where you care. And that caring should not be based on and off, where the person, today you care because we're happy. And then when you mad at me, you don't care. And that doesn't mean you don't really care. It means you're acting care. You're acting, your caring is act, it's an act. It's switch, it comes on and off. Like I can be mad at, and my daughter's mom can say to this, or my wife can say to this. I can be mad at you and still open door and have an umbrella when it's raining and not speaking to you, but I have an umbrella on you and I'm not looking at you, but I'm upset, because the caring should not stop because of how you feel at that moment. If you naturally care, you should care all the time. You know what I mean? You can still be mad, but being upset or being mad doesn't mean that you completely erase the caring. And then when you're happy, now the caring comes in. So for me, that was like, I was trying to stay away from people that have those moments of today I care, today I don't care, because I'm raising a little girl and I don't want her to be caught up in the fire of, But
Who are you? Where do you come from? Like, it really, you are such an angel. What?
Not all the time. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna be
but
hypocrite. I'm not gonna be hypocrite. But
you
I think I'm
are-
trying to do my best, the best way I can, on a regular. Yeah.
You're literally 1 in a trillion. And I can say that confidently because it's so messy out there.
Right.
We hear stories of baby daddies, baby mamas, and it's not nice. It's horrible.
It's easy to get messy. It is easy to get. It's easier for it to get messy because there is emotions involved.
Yeah.
And to not act out of your emotion takes a lot. Like it's easier because when you cause there's emotion involved, so it's easier to get messy. It takes a really strong character to be like, okay, I feel this way, but I want to act this way. But it doesn't remove on the time that you feel the pain, you feel the anger and stuff. You just tell yourself, I want to act this way. I want to act differently.
And how do you protect your daughter from adult trauma, if there is any? Because based on our conversation, it doesn't sound like there is any. You are so mature enough to handle it through thick and thin.
Right.
And her having to balance mom and dad are not together.
Right.
And still being honest and present.
Got you. I think, we really know this story when she's grown and tell a story, right? Like, I think that's where we really know the clarity of it. When she tell a story from a point of view. But I think foundation is very key for every child. Foundation is very key because a lot of our trauma comes from childhood. And you really have from 1 to 12 to really sharpen the characteristic that you want on your child, although she also have her own, And for me, I just wanted to make sure that the foundation is as kind, is as respectful, and is as loving, and is as giving, but with boundaries as well. Like where we set boundaries, and that's where some of the challenge comes in, because how I was raising her when she was small, it started changing as time goes by. Let's say when she was small, if her mom came, let's say late or didn't come, I'll make up an excuse for her. But on the sideline, I'll tell her, yo, man, we have a fight on the sideline, but I'll make up an excuse. I'm like, mommy was busy and this and that. But as she started growing older, I can't use the same excuse because I don't want her to get used to the idea that somebody can let me down. And then I have to speak to her. I'll be like, unfortunately, this time around, I can't back you up. I have to tell her this is wrong. Nobody should be able to let you down if they say they're coming. So I want to tell the mom, you're going to have time with her and explain to her why you didn't come and stuff. Because at that point, at 12 years old, I can't protect her the same way. You understand? The dynamic is different because I want her to not get used to the idea that if somebody doesn't page up, it's normal. So, and I can't protect the other person anymore in that regard. And then that's where I started leaving room. I started being a bit honest with little things, but I leave room for them to discuss it and fix it. And that's all. I always encourage that.
Yo, there's so much you're saying. You literally dropping wisdom and bombs, TNT wisdom bombs. What do you think a child really needs the most, and how are you making sure that she gets it?
I think different ages has different needs. You know, right now my daughter's 15, and so she's not the girl that used to be on daddy's chest all the time and then chill there and then play pillow fights and stuff. She's her own person. She got a friend. She's got a laptop. She's got her homework, and so all she needs from me at that time is to know that when I promise I'm gonna do something, I'll do it, to support her and to be there for her. All right. So that's the age that she is now. But when she was younger, it's different. She want to be held. She want kisses, and she wants you to tell her how beautiful and how amazing she is. And so the dynamic for different age group, there's different needs. And right now, I think the most important it's knowing that that is reliable. When I say I'm gonna do something, I'll do it. And if I don't do it, I'll give it a reason. I'll tell her a reason why I was not able to achieve that, and whatever the case may be.
Sure. And what advice, because you said a lot since we started, and I must say it's incredible to hear other side of a good baby daddy, if that makes sense. What advice would you give to men who are stepping into fatherhood with someone they are no longer romantically involved with?
I think my advice will be, I hope that there used to be love there, and then tap into that when you're raising your child. And your child need to know that she was born out of love. It is very important, that for a child to know that they were born out of love. Like I tell my daughter that I loved your mom. You're a result of our love. You understand? And I should not be scared to say that. You understand? Because I'm raising a human being that need to know her place and how she came to the world. And if you make a person start feeling already in the fragile state of their life, you're making them feel that they're a mistake. Can you believe the kind of trauma you're creating and the characteristic you're creating when you feel that, it was a mistake because that person did you wrong or whatever the case may be? You still need to tap into the love that made you like that person initially, and then present that love to the baby that you're raising. It's not the easy thing to do, but it's the right thing to do.
Okay, lastly, what kind of legacy are you trying to leave for your child? And not just financially, but emotionally, spiritually,
right,
and mentally.
Okay. I think I try to be a role model and a mentor and a role model in many aspects of life. The best way I can. If in term of morally value and respect, I don't tolerate disrespect, and then also in a world where there is no kindness, still be kind. Still be kind to people, respect people. My daughter calls our helper aunt, or Sisi, because that's the respect that I instill in her, and she has to respect the helper as much as she will respect the CEO. They are no different, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to treat anybody different, but in the midst of that, also have a filter on who comes in your life so that you're not taken advantage of with your kindness. Because when you're kind and you're respectful, you can be seen in the world we live in, you can be seen as weak or whatever the case may be. So have a filter on who enjoys that space. So don't be, when you're firm, it's okay to push back. It's okay to say, you're not getting in. You know what I mean? This house is not meant for people like you. And then also in term of a career, I wish I take that very serious. And I'm glad that she's studying. In 2 years' time, she's finishing matric and she wanna do engineering. Mechanical engineering. Mechanical engineering.
Yes.
And so and that's the kind of, my dad is an engineer, right? And that's another blessing in it, right? Because when my mom used to speak to me when she was young, she would tell me how intelligent my dad is. So can you, as a child, going back to that, can you see the confidence that I'm growing in, knowing that although he was not there, I just knew that he's an engineer, so therefore I gotta be. So those are the contribution factor that I was speaking about earlier on. You don't know what you say when the child is young plays a very big role in the growth. So I didn't turn up to be an engineer. I wanted to. My transition from coming from South Africa to come DRC to South Africa kind of made my study a little bit hard. So I went the PR route and the the marketing route. But one of the things I wanted her to be is an engineer, and then she's going through that direction in terms of my legacy. Spiritually, I like her to know that there is a God. You know, I'm not religious, but I do encourage her to be godly.
Okay, so we need to do part 2 of this.
Cool.
Now you know why I called him the real one with 0 filters. Stay tuned for part 2, and thank you so much for joining us.